all around us are the products of modern chemistry.
PFAS are harmful, and they're all around us. And polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, are a class of thousands of synthetic chemicals that have been produced by companies for decades to make products resistant to water, heat, and stains.
A family of chemicals known as PFAS are raising issues because of their prevalence in cosmetics and shampoos, and the fact that they don't disintegrate.
PFAS are concerning because they can cause major health impacts.
The CDC says they could be linked to cancer, increased risk of asthma, thyroid disease, and fertility issues.
Not only are PFAS harmful, they are nearly impossible to eliminate.
It's almost impossible.
I think when you see waterproof, lasts for 24 hours promise on a product, that you should be wary because there's some chemical in there that is making that fix to your skin, and it might be PFAS.
What if your favorite makeup was toxic and you had no idea? Every morning, millions of people apply makeup, lipstick, mascara, foundation, products that promise flawless, long-lasting beauty. But behind the smudge-proof and sweat-resistant claims is a hidden danger. A class of chemicals not listed on the label. They're called PFAS, short for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as forever chemicals. These substances don't break down in nature or in your body. Originally invented for industrial use, PFAS now lurk in everything from non-stick pans to food wrappers to the very makeup on your face. In 2021, scientists at the University of Notre Dame tested 231 makeup products sold in the US and Canada. They focused on foundations, waterproof mascaras, and liquid lipsticks. Over half showed signs of PFAS, yet fewer than 10% had any mention of them on the label. That means millions are applying these chemicals every day, without knowing and without any warning. PFAS are man-made. That means they don't exist in nature. They were invented by people in a lab. They were first created in the 1940s to make products waterproof, grease-proof, and heat-resistant. At the time, it seemed like magic. You could make a pan that food wouldn't stick to, a jacket that rain couldn't soak through, a carpet that didn't stain, and eventually, makeup that stayed flawless all day. That's why PFAS show up in so many things. Non-stick pans, takeout containers, waterproof clothing, and yes, your mascara, foundation, and lipstick. But here's the problem, they persist. In your makeup, in your skin, in your bloodstream. They're called forever chemicals for a reason. Once they're made, they don't go away, they don't wash off, they don't disappear with time. They build up slowly over years. So every time you wear makeup that has PFAS, tiny amounts can enter your body, through your skin, your lips, even as you wipe or wash it off. And your body can't flush them out. Instead, they accumulate quietly in your organs. Think of PFAS as chemicals that move in and never leave. Over time, the exposure stacks up. Scientists have linked PFAS to serious health issues like cancer, hormone problems, liver damage, and even lower vaccine protection. And it's not just you, these chemicals get into our water, our food, and our air. They're everywhere, and most of the time, no one tells you they're there. Once PFAS enter your body, they don't leave quickly. They get into your bloodstream, attach to proteins, and start building up in your organs, especially your liver, kidneys, and thyroid. Scientists have linked PFAS exposure to a long list of health problems, including kidney and testicular cancers, liver damage, hormone disruption, high cholesterol, and reproductive issues. In pregnant women, PFAS have been linked to preeclampsia and low birth weight in babies. In adults, they can contribute to obesity and make vaccines less effective. One CDC-backed study from 2021 showed that people with higher PFAS levels had weaker immune responses to COVID-19 vaccines. That means the chemicals in your lipstick could actually make it harder for your body to fight off viruses. Even if you only use a little makeup each day, the exposure adds up. And this isn't just a personal health issue, it's an environmental one too. When you wash PFAS off your face, they go down the drain, through the water system, and into rivers and lakes. Wastewater treatment plants don't remove PFAS, so they end up in drinking water, soil, and even in the food we eat. These chemicals have been found in fish, polar bears, and even in rainwater around the world. They're everywhere, and once they're out, they stay. So why aren't PFAS clearly listed on makeup labels? Because they don't have to be. In the United States, cosmetic laws haven't kept up with the science. The FDA doesn't require companies to list PFAS if they're added as part of a fragrance preservative system or proprietary formula. That gives brands a legal way to keep you in the dark. In the same Notre Dame study, 29 products that tested high for fluorine were re-examined. Only one of them had a fluorinated ingredient on the label. Companies use generic ingredient names like film former or conditioning agent. These sound harmless but can hide powerful, long-lasting PFAS. When asked, most brands say their products are safe and refer to outdated FDA documents. But here's the catch. Those FDA reports don't even evaluate PFAS in cosmetics. They mostly focus on food packaging. And even though Congress passed the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act in 2022, which gives the FDA more oversight, it doesn't require PFAS to be labeled. It only asks the FDA to publish data by the end of 2025. In the meantime, influencers continue promoting long-wear, waterproof and transfer-proof makeup without any idea of what's actually in them. The industry markets freedom from sweat and smudging, but no one talks about the cost. The good news is, things are starting to change. Some states in the US have passed laws banning PFAS in cosmetics. California, Colorado, Oregon, Minnesota, and Washington all have bans going into effect in 2025. Vermont passed similar legislation. Maryland is banning several types of PFAS chemicals, and Maine is requiring full PFAS disclosure by 2030. At the national level, Congress is considering the No PFAS in Cosmetics Act. If passed, it would ban all PFAS in makeup by 2025, but as of now, it's still sitting in committee, waiting for a vote. Globally, the European Union is ahead. Countries like France and Denmark are working to ban PFAS in all cosmetics by 2026. The EU is considering a full phase-out of PFAS across industries, including beauty. In the meantime, some brands are making changes voluntarily. Clean beauty companies like Ilia, Kosas, Care Vice, and IT Cosmetics are advertising PFAS-free products. These brands have removed fluorinated compounds from their formulas and are making it a selling point. If you are not sure about your own products, you can test them at home. Take your lipstick and swipe it on a piece of paper. Add a drop of water. If the water beads up or rolls off without soaking in, there's a chance PFAS are present. It's not foolproof, but it's a start. We've been told makeup is about self-expression, about feeling confident, beautiful, in control. But what if the products meant to make us feel empowered are quietly putting our health at risk? PFAS are not just a technical concern. They're a global public health threat. They're in your home, your bloodstream, your water supply. And for decades, companies have used them without warning you because they didn't have to. That's the part no one talks about. The beauty industry is still largely self-regulated in the US. Brands aren't required to label PFAS. The FDA hasn't banned them, and the chemicals keep showing up on shelves, in influencer halls, and in our bodies. We deserve better. You don't need to be a chemist to make safer choices. Look for brands that say PFAS free. Ask questions, support legislation. Tell companies this kind of secrecy isn't okay anymore. Because once PFAS are in, you can't scrub them out. Not from your body, not from the environment, not from history. And if the industry won't change on its own, then it's up to us to make them.